That delay period having two parts, physical delay and chemical delay. In a physical delay, there is a atomization, that is fine spray of your injected fuel, atomization, then vaporization and forming a mixture with the surrounding compressed air. So this is covered under physical delay, and whatever be the chemical reaction preparation stage for combustion, that is counted in a chemical delay. Now we will check out how combustion takes place in SI engine and how it is take place in CI engine. Now in SI engine, as we know that when spark is produced, this fresh charge will burn first. These burn gases will exert pressure on remaining charge, which is it not burn. This is a flame front. So whatever be the burn gases traveling in front, and there is not force apply on the remaining charge. When flame front travel ahead, then it is going to eat the fresh charge, and next, whatever be the portion of fresh charge get burned, it will exert. So the end portion, which is continuously compressed, because each layer by layer, whatever be the burn gases will expand, and that expansion forces ultimately reach to this end portion, and this end portion compresses, and that compression will increase its pressure and temperature. So layer by layer, when they travel towards a charge, the pressure of a charge will increase and corresponding temperature will increase. Now imagine if end charge temperature reach to self-ignition temperature of fuel, then even though this flame front is not reached to this end charge, but because of its temperature reached to SI2, so this end charge will burn and it produces its own flame. So obviously with pressure wave, and these two pressure waves will collide and we observe a detonation, abnormal combustion. Correct? When this is observed, when flame is started, initiated, and it is traveling throughout the combustion chamber and progressing towards end charge. So combustion already started. During its progress, during its travel towards end charge, when end charge reach to SIT, then auto ignition takes place, and due to this there is a detonation now. That means if I am going to draw this on P theta diagram, then our P theta diagram will be like this. So at the beginning, there is no issue. At the end, towards the end of combustion, we observe the detonation. But what happens in CI engine? In CI engine, whatever be the delay period, that is physical and chemical delay period, during that delay period, this injected fuel is accumulated in the combustion chamber. And once this fuel catch the flame, then there is a tremendous pressure wave. If this delay period is higher, then more amount of fuel will be accumulated inside the cylinder, and when that rich mixture catch the flame, then very high pressure wave will be produced, and it is going to strike on cylinder wall, and it produces knock. That means in SI engine we observe a knock tendency towards the end of combustion, but in CI engine, we observe the knock tendency at the beginning of combustion. So if I am going to draw this on T theta diagram for CI engine, so it will be like this at the beginning. So this is the difference. In SI engine, we observe not abnormal combustion towards the end of combustion, and in CI engine, we observe this abnormal combustion or not at the beginning of combustion. Now, what is the responsible factor for detonations? So we already studied in our previous video. Now, today we will check out what are the different factors which are responsible for this kind of abnormal combustion. So there is only one factor due to which we observe a knock, due to which we observe abnormal combustion. So only this delay period. If delay period is shorter, so less amount of fuel will be accumulated, and when it catch the flame, so pressure waves induced having a lesser peak point pressure, having a lesser intensity, so it will not going to produce any kind of knocking. So we don't observe any abnormal combustion. If delay period is larger, so more fuel will accumulated, and when at the end of delay period, when flame get catch, then tremendous pressure wave will be there, pressure rise rate is there, and which is producing abnormal combustion. That's only one factor, that is the delay period. If you control the delay period, if you minimize the delay period, then definitely you will minimize the knocking tendency of CI. Now the various factors which affect this delay period are also responsible for abnormal combustion in CI. So the factor which reduce the delay period will reduce the tendency of knocking. The factor which increase the delay period will increase the tendency of knocking. So remember only one point, that is delay period is responsible for abnormal combustion in CI. So one by one we will check out what are the different factors and how it is going to affect. Now, whenever we are talking about any factor, how it is going to affect the delay period or how it is going to affect the abnormal combustion. So remember, delay period is more, that means more tendency to knock. So delay period is more, that means either physical delay period is more or chemical delay period is more, or maybe the both delay periods are require more time. Now physical delay period is more, it means it requires more time to atomize. It requires more time to get vaporize the fuel particles, and it requires more time to forming a mixture. So physical delay will be increased. If it requires more time to attain its SIT temperature, so that is count as a chemical delay. So chemical preparation stage, that is chemical reactions formation, if it requires more time, that means chemical delay is more. So anyhow, we have to reduce the overall delay period. So let us see which factor affecting and how it is going to affect. So first factor, compression ratio. Now, how the compression ratio affect the delay period? and same factor will affect the knocking tendency also. If I increase the compression ratio, so whatever be the air, previously I am compressing to this much, it will increase its suppression temperature. If I am compressing to extra, that means I am increasing compression ratio. So now compression is ratio is increased. Now whole charge, whole air will compress to very small space. So overall pressure and temperature at the end of compression will be more. And at that time, if I am injecting fuel, so what happened? Already air is compressed with very high pressure and high temperature. So overall temperature is more. Now, whatever with the fuel injection is there, fuel should inject against the compressed pressure. So obviously injection pressure will increase, and so whatever be the spray coming out from the injector nozzle, it will more atomize, more fine droplets will be there. So increasing compression ratio, atomization will improve. Now, whatever be the fuel injected, due to higher compression ratio, overall temperature is high. So fuel easily get vaporized. So vaporization time period is lesser. And as the compression ratio is higher, that means when piston compressing that air, so there is more air motion. So it becomes easy to mix with the air. So mixing process will also take a lesser time. That means if I am increasing compression ratio, overall physical period, delay period will shorten. Now what about chemical delay period? So obviously at the end of compression stroke, higher temperature will promote chemical reaction, and chemical reaction takes place at a faster rate. That means overall chemical delay also become shorter. So physical and chemical both delay period become shorter due to increase in compression ratio. If overall delay period is shorter, that means we reduce delay period. If we reduce delay period, so knocking tendency will reduce. Clear? So compression ratio overall increase in pressure and temperature, and this increase in pressure and temperature will responsible to reduce the physical and chemical delay period, so that overall delay period will reduce. If delay period is reduced, so there is lesser tendency to knock. Second factor, that is engine speed. Now there are 2 points. Engine speed. If I increase the engine speed, so imagine engine is moving like this slowly. If I am increasing engine speed, so in terms of degree of crank rotation, so in terms of degree of crank rotation, so definitely crank rotation will be depend on piston movement. If piston moving fastly, that means crank also rotating fastly. So in terms of degree of crank rotation, delay period will increase. Why? Because if engine moving at faster rate and I keep the injection starting point same, so during faster movement of crank, it get a smaller time to fuel injection. So in that case, if I increase the engine speed, I will retard the injection timing. That means I will inject fuel little bit before. So as per crank degree, I have to start injection little bit before, so our total injection period will be higher. So in terms of degree of crank rotation, fuel injection period will be increased. Fuel injection period increase, it means it accumulates high amount of fuel. If accumulate high amount of fuel, then definitely it tends to abnormal combustion, that is not possible. So this is possible in terms of degree crank rotation. Now, what about the time? If I increase engine speed, then time will be reduced in terms of time. So, if speed is more, so that degree will cover in a lesser amount of time. So, in terms of time, we observe that there is lesser time required. So, fuel injection will completed in a smaller time. So, in terms of time, if increase in engine speed, time factor will reduce. So, according to time, if we are going to calculate, then we observe that there will be a reduction in delay period, reduction in abnormal combustion. So when we are talking about engine speed, so there are two factors. One, degree of crank angle. So degree of crank angle will increase. So according to this, we observe that there will be increase in knocking. If we are talking about a time period, so higher speed, that means lesser time. So lesser time to complete the injection. So it will reduce your tendency to knock. Next factor, injection pressure. Now, what happens if I increase the injection pressure? So, if I increase the fuel injection pressure, so fuel will injected with high pressure. So, fuel injection with high pressure will increase the atomization. That's why fine droplet spray will be there. We observe in fine droplet spray. Even though in our general that shower, so if there is a less pressure, water pressure, so we observe that the shower is having heavy droplets. But if there is a high pressure of water, so we observe shower having a very fine droplet shower. Correct? Like that, if I increase the fuel injection pressure, so fuel injected will atomize at that high pressure. So we get a fine droplets atomization, which improve the vaporization process, which improves the mixing. How mixing? Because high pressure injection is there. So fuel will injected and penetrate to the more depth. So more mixing of fuel air is possible. So physical delay will reduce. If physical delay reduce, so definitely overall delay period will reduce. And if delay period reduce, so tendency of knock or abnormal combustion will reduce. Now the next factor, injection timing. If I increase injection timing, previously suppose fuel injection started 10 degree before TDC. If I increase that and now I start fuel injection 15 degree before TDC. Previously it was 10 degree before TDC, now 15 degree before TDC. That's why I am increasing injection time. If I increase injection timing, that means more amount of fuel will be accumulated in cylinder. If more amount of fuel will be accumulated, so when flame catch, so there will be more tendency to knock. So degree wise, first 10 degree before TDC, now I am increasing 15 degree. So degree wise, if we observe, so delay period is increased. So Injection timing increases, delay period will increase, and tendency of knocking will increase. Next is engine size. If I increase engine size, what happens? As in previous video also, increase in size, that means diameter. So if diameter is increased, stroke length will be reduced. So increase in size, so piston movement will reduce now. And larger size engine always run at a slower speed. So speed of engine will reduce. If speed of engine is reduced, so your delay period will reduce. In terms of degree. So if I increase the engine size, so in terms of degree, our fuel injection angle will reduce. So lesser amount of fuel injected, lesser tendency to knock, because it reducing your delay. Because all high size engine size work on low speed. High speed engine, so we must require a small size engine. Next factor, quality of fuel. Quality of fuel, that is CTAL number. In SI engine, we know that quality of fuel means octane number. In CI engine, quality of fuel means CTAL number. Quality of fuel, if high quality fuel, obviously we are talking about CI engine, that means we are talking about diesel engine, diesel fuel. So quality of fuel, that means quality of diesel is more. So high quality fuel definitely showing less tendency of knock, so that it is high quality, so that it is costlier. So logically, if we are thinking, so high quality fuel, so quality of fuel is increased, so tendency will definitely decrease. But how? Because high quality fuel means its CTAL number is high. CTAL number high means its SID temperature is lesser. Remember, it is exact opposite to CI, SI. High octane number means SID temperature is higher, so that it will not get auto ignited, and your flame will reach to your end charge and it will burn by the same flame front. But here we ignite fuel by auto ignition, so CTAL number is high, that means SID temperature is lower. So what happened when we start injection of fuel? So as SID temperature is low, so before accumulating more amount of fuel, due to less SID temperature, it catch the flame and burning started. So there is no much time to store more fuel. If less fuel gets stored, so less pressure rise will be there, less tendency of knock. Because your fuel get burned very easily. Its SID temperature is low. So high quality of diesel means high CTAL number. High CTAL number of diesel, that means it having a lesser SID temperature, so it will easily get burned. So you don't provide much time to get fuel store accumulate inside the cylinder. So if it get burned easily, quickly, that's when your delay period is shorter. Because it burns quickly, that's when its chemical reaction takes place at a faster level, right? So chemical delay period will be lesser. So tendency of knock is lesser. Now, intake pressure and temperature. What happens if whatever be the air we are taking in during suction, if that air is provided at higher pressure and temperature? So suppose our diesel engine having a turbocharger. So turbocharger will increase its pressure, corresponding temperature will increase and it will provide it inside the cylinder. So what happens? If intake pressure and temperature is already high, so after compression it will reach to higher than your regular compression pressure and temperature. So fuel injection experience lesser physical delay and lesser chemical delay, because at the beginning during suction your intake air having a higher pressure temperature, so after compression it becomes easy to optimize fuel, easy to reduce the chemical delay period, so your overall delay period will reduce, so overall tendency of knock will be reduced. Now the next, air fuel ratio. If I increase the air fuel ratio, what happens? Increase the air fuel ratio. Remember, this is air fuel. If I am talking about SI engine, so air will be 15, fuel will be 1. That is stoichiometry. So if I increase the air fuel, that means it becomes more. So it 18 fuel 1. So 18 to 1 is a more air fuel ratio. 15 to 1 is a stoichiometric ratio. So like that, if in CI engine, if I increase the air fuel ratio, that means our mixture will be lean because air quantity is more. If a mixture is lean, what happens? It increase the delay period and is increase delay period, so it having a tendency to produce a knock. Why increase the delay period? Air quantity is more as compared to fuel, your mixture becomes lean. Lean mixture produces less amount of heat because heat production is depend on the fuel only. Air does not produce any kind of heat because air itself don't have any calorific value. So lean mixture will produce less amount of heat. Your overall combustion chamber remain at a lower temperature. So air fuel ratio increases, that means leanness of mixture increases. So overall temperature will reduce. If overall temperature of combustion chamber is reduced, so it will take more time to catch the flame, to reach the SIT temperature, to get auto ignite. So chemical delay will be definitely increased. Overall delay period will increase. So tendency of knock will be increased. And the last point, engine load. If I increase the engine load, what is the impact on delay period? Now, if I increase the engine load, what happens? Engine load is increased, that means engine has to produce more power. If engine required to produce more power, that's means we are supplying a rich air fuel mixture. If air fuel mixture is reduced, then definitely delay period will reduce. Correct? So rich mixture, so delay period will reduce because rich mixture will burn easily. Secondly, engine load if I am increasing, so overall cycle pressure will increase. So overall cycle pressure increase, that means our physical delay will reduce because pressure inside the combustion chamber is high. When we increase the engine load, then suction will be strong, so more intake of air will be there. More intake will be there, so after compression, overall pressure and temperature will be high. So again, physical and chemical delay will reduce. If I increase engine load, so my engine will work on high temperature. So whatever be the intake of air, so surrounding wall temperature and combustion temperature is high. So high temperature will reduce chemical delay. So overall, when we increase engine load, our delay period will decrease. If delay period is a decrease, so our knocking tendency will decrease. So all these factors combinedly or separately, because just like engine load, there are various factors combinedly affecting. So all these factors combinedly or separately affecting only delay period. And as delay period is responsible for knocking, so all these factors also responsible for knocking in CI. Now what are the adverse effect of this knocking? So first adverse effect, if your CI engine having a knocking tendency, so it produces a lot of noisy operation. That is your first drawback. Second, whenever there is abnormal combustion, definitely we receive a less amount of power output. So even though your fuel consumption is more, say, but you are getting a less amount of work output. So power loss is there. If there is a knocking, so high pressure wave is going to strike on your cylinder wall, producing knock. So when pressure waves strike on cylinder wall, so it will deliver heat energy to the wall at more extent. So whatever be the heat of combustion available inside the cylinder, which is going to utilize to convert into mechanical power, but now that heat is transferred to the wall, your engine becomes overheated. That means heat is lost. It is not remain inside to utilize for mechanical work. So heat will lost. Next, there is a mechanical damages. Your wall will damage, your piston rings, even though your cylinder get damaged. Many times we observe that there is a thermal crack formation is there. If cracks are formed, so whatever be the cooling liquid surrounding to that cylinder, that liquid will enter into the combustion chamber and definitely it will produce smoke. It produces a carbon deposition and definitely it is going to affect your overall operation of CI. Okay, so all these are the drawbacks, adverse effect of knocking. Now there are various methods to reduce the knocking, but all methods anyhow try to reduce the delay period, and all reduction in delay period definitely reduction in knocking. Okay. So I think it is clear what are the different factors and how it is going to affect abnormal combustion or delay period. So in summarizing today's lecture, so in SI engine, knocking or detonation is occur towards the end of combustion. In CI engine, it is occur at the beginning of the